Hey everybody, welcome to Quilt-cam. It is Wednesday, the 16th of December. I had to think. Yesterday was the 15th, so we were halfway through the month yesterday. Today's the 16th. We are less than 10 days from Christmas. So how are you doing with everything coming along? My big gift this year to my dad. When he was here for Thanksgiving, he asked for a quilt. I should say he didn't ask, he hinted. He hinted big time. And so I went through my closet of quilts and chose a special quilt to him and sent it to him right after Thanksgiving, so he was able to open it just before this past last weekend. He said, "Do I need to wait for Christmas?" And I said, "No, you don't need to wait for Christmas. Go ahead and open it up." So what did I send him? I sent him Old Tobacco Road, which was one of our earlier Quiltville mysteries. That was about 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago now. And it's found a good place with him. He sent a picture of it on his bed, and it just makes my heart proud to know that my family loves my quilts. I'm sure that your family loves your quilts as much as you do. So I want to welcome everybody for tonight. I've got out my blue Morse. This is a 1950s Morse. I love the 1950s machines. They were basic, bare bones, not a lot of bells and whistles, but they were really strong workhorses. And this one was made in Japan. It's kind of a robin's egg blue metallic, really pretty. I can imagine cars of the same era being this color of paint, this shininess. A lot of these machines were made in auto factories or plants. I have a Morse that was made by Toyota. I'm not sure if this one was also made by Toyota, but my other Morse was. And, you know, the car manufacturing and the machine manufacturing, all of that came after World War II. We really helped give Japan a leg up because their designing and their manufacturing and their engineering were top notch. And so we're still happy to have these functional and working today. So what am I working on? Strip sets. More strip sets. I need about 800 4-patches, or something like that. No, maybe it's only 500, but 800 sounds just as bad. And these are going to be made with, these are 1.5-inch strips. So I dug into my 1.5-inch strip bin, and I just pulled out a rainbow of strips here. There's all different colors. And I've also got a bin of neutrals, and all I am doing is pairing light to dark. I want a lot of variety, so if all of the strips are really long, I'll probably be cutting them in half so that I can match one half to something else. Now, when you need 800 4-patches, it's not so important that each one be not like the next one. You can have several of the same ones if they're going to be scattered throughout the quilt, but I don't want too many, so I probably would not do 40 inches worth of the same 4-patch by strip set. I also dug into another drawer just for some variety, and these are some 1.5-inch strips from recycled fabric. These are men's shirts, ladies' skirts, dresses, jumpers, pajama pants, whatever it is. I work with the same sizes of strips often, whether it's recycled fabric or regular quilt fabric, and I want to mix some of these in just for fun, because there's some really, this was actually one of my blouses way back when. I want to mix these in so that they're fun to play with and a little bit more predictable or less predictable, a little bit more like me. So if this is your first time joining us on Quilt-cam tonight, I want to welcome you. Quilt-cam is not something that happens all the time on a schedule because my life is kind of wacko. So we do this when we can fit it in, and usually that means when I'm not out on the road teaching and on a night that my family's busy, because family time is really important to me. So if I'm home and I can have family time, then we won't have Quilt-cam. But if my husband's off playing tennis and my son's at work and I'm home alone, then we can have Quilt-cam, and that's exactly what's going on tonight. If you want to leave me a comment, if you're watching on YouTube or on Google Plus Hangouts, if you're not watching on the blog, you can email me. Emailing me is the best way to get a comment to me directly, because I'm sitting across the cabinet, the sewing machine cabinet, from where the laptop is. I can't even reach the keyboard from here. So email me at quiltville@gmail.com, especially if you want to send me a photo, if you have a quilt project to share. that you'd like me to share with everybody else tonight, send me a photo. You have to do that by email. You can't leave a photo in the guest book. However, if you just want to make a comment or you have a question to ask or something like that that doesn't require sending a photo, you can leave that comment either in YouTube, in Google Plus Hangouts, or under the comments section of my blog where this feed is embedded tonight, and that's quiltville.blogspot.com. All of the archives are also there under the Quilt-cam tab at the top of the blog. If you're watching on YouTube, you get most of the story, but you don't get the whole story because I have background information surrounding this feed tonight on the blog. I share other people's stories on the blog. So you're going to want to go there to find out the information that just watching on YouTube doesn't find you. So all of my messages come by my phone. I will read your questions and answer you back, and we will have some fun here. I wanted to start out tonight with an email that came just a little bit ago from somebody who's not able to watch tonight. So this one is from Peggy, and she says, getting ready to sew and watch Quilt-cam tonight. Oh, she is able. There was somebody else who wasn't able, but that they sent a message ahead. She says, I miss you so often for a variety of reasons, so I'm going to ask a question that may have been discussed, so ignore it if it's already been answered. So is your interest piqued? Let's see what she says. What comes first with your mysteries? Like the proverbial chicken versus the egg. What comes first, the colors, or do you have a quilt designed already that you just add your inspiration colors to? I love this year's colorway, and I'm all caught up. Well, I would have to say neither this, neither that. Usually, I look for things that would make great block designs. And oftentimes when I'm finding these, I'm out of the country, I'm on a trip somewhere, and this year's Aleatare mystery quilt was inspired by a trip I took to Tuscany last May. There are quilt blocks everywhere in Europe, from tile floors to painted ceilings to floors in churches, block designs, tile designs on buildings, and the colors, of course, come right along with it. So I kind of gather up all of these ideas in my head, and I start playing with block ideas. The blocks may not look exactly like something that I have seen somewhere. So let's say I see this block on the side of a building, or this tile on a wall or a floor. I may use that inspiration loosely, but I won't try to replicate it 100% like that, because I'm also trying to add other elements from other parts of the trip. So you'll get a good feeling of the things that we experienced. If you follow along with the mystery, you'll notice that with each clue, I am posting photos of where the color inspiration came from. This past week, we used our gold fabric, and I showed all kinds of pictures of gold buildings. There are gold buildings everywhere. They love that terracotta look in Italy, and it's kind of it can go from a more yellow gold all the way to a rusty gold. And a lot of the buildings had this with green shutters, and I love that. But we didn't use green this year because we used green the last couple of years. This year's colors are red and gold, black, gray, and neutral. And I really love the Renaissance look of this quilt. And I think that you will too. If you keep following along, we'll have our reveal in just a few weeks. So are you sewing on the mystery? Are you participating in our Mystery Monday link ups? We have on every Monday, I do a link up on the blog where people are sharing their progress of how their steps are coming, whether they've stayed with my colors or whether they've pulled in their own colorway and their own plans. It's really fun to see what others are doing. So that's available for you on the blog at quiltville.blogspot.com. And I've got those all linked under the Aleatare Mystery tab at the top. So if you click that tab, you'll find the links to each individual reveal of each step. So part 1, part 2, part 3 are there, plus the 3 Mystery Mondays that we've done so far. And I can't believe how fast this month is flying already. You know, we've done 3 clues already, and I've got to get busy pulling together step 4 because that goes live on Friday morning. So I'm going to sit here and do a little bit of sewing Why don't you email me, send me a photo of what you're working on, and let's talk about this. Do you have family coming together or coming over for Christmas? Maybe you've had family over for Hanukkah. It's hard to find the sewing time that we want during these busy holidays, but we do the best that we can. I've got just a short end here where I ran out of my light up here, so I just take another one and plunk it right down on top. If I had time, I need my light over here a little bit more. Sorry about that. If I had time, that sounds redundant. One of the things I like to do when I'm sewing little 4 patches like these, because these are from 1.5" strips, is go through a bag of scraps and find all the small hunks and chunks of stuff that I can cut into short 1.5" strips. And those sew up really quickly. It gives purpose to those hunky scraps, and I have a ton of variety that way. I almost prefer that than working with long strips, because long strips just don't give me the variety that I want. This is folded over. Okay, so now I'm going to tuck this pink one under here. Now when I set this machine up, I had to do some testing. I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't from where the camera angle is. And I've changed laptops, by the way. The old one was retired. It was very tired. And this one is running just with the camera that is on my laptop, was my travel laptop that I just replaced. The new laptop is up at the camera, and I'm getting up at the cabin, and I'm getting everything installed on it that I need for when I start my travel at the end of the month. So a new laptop is about an every 2-year occurrence for me here. Now see, this is a long one, and this is probably way too much. Even if I need 484 patches, I probably don't, I'll set that aside, don't want more than this. If this is 22 inches, I'm going to get, that many 1.5" cuts down here. That's probably plenty. I could even cut it into thirds and be happy. I want variety. I don't want all the same thing. This size of 4 patch is a great one for ugly fabric, because by the time you cut that ugly fabric at 1.5 inches and it sews up to be 1 inch square, you can't tell what that fabric was. It's just a color by now, or a blob, or a blur. Tell you what, I have been at the cabin treadling all week. It's been my heart's desire over the past year just to have some leisurely time just to treadle. Treadling is great, but sitting at an electric machine that goes fast has its up points too. And let me tell you, after several days of treadling, my legs are tired. This machine, when I got it, it was a find from my friend Mary, and she found it, I think, for $50. And I said, buy it, buy it. Of course, it was sight unseen. And the wiring was rotted, so I had to take it in and have the wiring redone. But that was all. This is the 1950s, and it just sews like a champ. Okay, so we've got a purple strip. I'm digging in my neutrals here for some fun stuff. This one, I love anything with words on it. I don't know if you can see that on there, but it says dog, bow, wow, wow, mutt, little dog, bulldog, dancing dog, walking the dog, poodle, growl, sleeping, all kinds of dog stuff on there. And we love our dog. Now this machine, she's got some speed. Alrighty. So how many strip sets does it take to do 480? Who knows? Now see, that's a good short one to use. Get rid of all the short stuff. So these are all going to be just scrappy, and just wait until you see where they're going to go. One thing I don't see in here is a lot of blue. I may have to pull more blue. That's a dark to a dark. We don't want that. Blue polka dot. Okay. I hear the phone buzzing, so we're going to check in and see who's joining us tonight. Kathy Dale says, under her needle. She says, no Bonnie Hunter quilts under the needle tonight. Going totally outside my box. You know what, Kathy? Going outside the box is sometimes the best place to go. If you've been in the box for too long, you need to shake it up a little bit, girlfriend. So no problem there. She says, I wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and a healthy, Happy New Year. Thank you for all the inspiration you provide to us. Wow. These are great, Kathy. She is doing some amazingly awesome, looks like little paper pieced things. The one on this side, those look like cat's eyes. The black and the white, the little cat's eyes. Those are cute. I love those. How are they going to set together? Those are beautiful. All solids. She's gone modern on me. Love those. Beautiful. Okay, and the next one, Teresa DeYoung says, yay for Quilt-cam. Missed you lots lately. Well, thank you. 1.5-inch strips, good for you, but I've done it. Made a queen-size scrappy triple Irish train with piece stars in the open blocks. Each 5-inch block had 25 pieces. It took me 2 years, and it lives in its happy place on my bed. Very nice. More recently, I tackled another bucket list item, a mini quilt. So, of course, I picked a paper piece Mariner Star by Carol Doak. The 3-inch center, there is a picture coming, just hang on. The 3-inch center medallion has 92 pieces and is surrounded by borders of the smallest baby geese. Now I have the reputation at my guild as the girl who loves tiny pieces. So, just to stir things up, my next quilt was made of gigantic blocks. See, I love that. I love that. I don't like being pegged either. You know, people say, oh, well, Bonnie always releases the mystery clue at 6 a.m. Yeah? So then maybe she'll release it at 7 a.m. and watch people go ballistic because I don't like to be shoved in a box. Oh, she always releases it on New Year's Day. The clue, the end is always New Year's Day. Not always. Don't put me in a box. You may be surprised. So I'm glad that you are also a girl of your own heart. She says, I'm back to making clue number 3 for the Aliatare mystery. I did have to take 5 days off for surgery, but now I have a new knuckle joint. Awesome. And I'm raring to go. Keep doing what you do. And she's from London, Ontario, Canada. And there's the little itty bitty mini quilt that she sent along. Love those purples. That is just beautiful. I used to do mini quilts until I realized that I could never sew through the fabric fast enough if all I made was minis. But they're beautiful. I love them. Okay, one more. Betsy Kessler says, I've been on a sewing binge since my return from Raleigh. I finished Pineapple Blossom, another project, and have been working on Roll Cotton Ball ever since. I need 3 more string blocks and my center will be done. You can do it, Betsy. You can do it. She says it'll be a couch quilt. I'm really happy with the Christmas material I chose. I have already made a list of about 6 places you are coming near me in the next 3 years. Good, good. So if I end up that direction with a flat tire, I can call you because I'll be near you. She says, hopefully I'll be able to get in one of your workshops again. I hope so. Only 90 of step 1 done, but I have too much Christmas stuff to finish. I wish you joy, love, good health, and lots of fun in 2016. Same back to you, Betsy. She sent along a picture of her Roll Cotton Ball. I'm going to biggie size it here so you can see. She's doing that in Christmas fabrics. Isn't that beautiful? We sure had a good time during those workshops in Raleigh. Raleigh was my last gig for 2015, and it happened the weekend before Thanksgiving. So it was do that in Raleigh, come home for Sunday, have Sunday, pick up my dad on Monday, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. So happy. One more. Sandra says, happy birthday, Dallas. Is it Dallas's birthday? She says, could you please wish Dallas in Macon, Georgia a happy birthday? He's your biggest fan. So this is a big happy birthday from Quiltville to you, Dallas. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy birthday. Sandra says she's watching from Lake Fontana, North Carolina, in the Smoky Mountains tonight with a small fire burning. Doesn't that sound nice? Wishing for snow. So glad you have been able to enjoy these mountains lately. Also, you know, we have never been this lucky, and I know there are people who love their snow. I know they just they long for snow. They start planning for snow in August, and I think that they're crazy. But I really like it when my winters are mild because I'm an outdoors girl and I really don't like to deal with ice and snow. I should say I'm a fair weather outdoors girl. So this past week, we've had temperatures near 70 up in the Blue Ridge Mountains. I have been out with the dog hiking lots. It's amazing when you go out at 8 o'clock in the morning and all I need is like a t-shirt like this with my denim shirt thrown over, and that's warm enough because the temperatures are little, you know, it's like 58 to 60, and then it gets warmer. I've even been caught driving with the windows down and the sunroof open because it's been so nice. That said, I know that there is a doozy around the corner. There's just going to be. I mean, when you have weather this nice, there's going to be a payback in January or February. So I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. Of course, in February, I'll be heading to Southern California. So hopefully it can happen then. But I've really enjoyed the weather this December. I can't believe it's the 16th of December. And I'm here in short sleeves, and I have the window open, and of course hot flashes have a lot to do with that. But I just love it. Susan Erler says, Quilt-cam, yay! She says, thanks for having Quilt-cam tonight. I'm enjoying the mystery quilt so much this year. Oh, that's so nice. I finally got all of my Christmas gifts done, so I can continue with clue number 2 and move on to clue number 3. You have until Friday when clue number 4 comes out. One of my grandson's quilts is big tumblers. They are 8 inches. I wanted something that kept the integrity of the fabrics because if I cut them into small pieces, you couldn't see the little ninja people and the throwing stars. First time working with Minky, it's backed with a black Minky. And she says the big tumblers were perfect. And she sent along a photo. So I'm going to biggie size this here. Oh, I can see the ninja, guys. Oh, that's perfect for a grandson. Big honkin' tumblers. Those are great. Those are great. I'm also enjoying my tumbler. I think I've added 5 rows to it over the past couple of weeks because I've been working on a block assembly and stitching quilts together and sewing sashings and everything. And every time I sew something, I'm throwing another tumbler pair. I've got some over here. So here's a pair together. And those rows they just grow in between everything with no effort at all. So the tumblers are working on the side, though probably not tonight because I'm just strip piecing. In fact, let's do a little bit more of that. As I dig through here, I'm just going through varieties. Sometimes I'm sticking one underneath the top one if the top one's the long one. Sometimes I'm putting another one on top in case the bottom one's the long one, and I just go. It's really kind of mindless. And there's not 1.5 inches left there, so I'll go all the way to the end. When I press these, I do like to go and cut them wherever there is a join. So here's a place where there's a join. And then there's another place where there's a join. And I just make little piles of pairs. So this purple will have at least 2 different neutrals to it because I staggered my strips. I try not to press them with the whole chain still attached. It gets tangled up. It's just too unwieldy. So I just like to snip them apart wherever there's a join, then take my stack of strip sets to the ironing board and press them. I am going to press these all to the dark. And for those who freaked out over last Friday's clue, not having any spinning going on. Oh, here's some good short neutrals. That's great. Okay. Sometimes you can spin, sometimes you can't. And I know enough about this mystery to be able to tell you when you can't spin and when you should not spin, because it will make you an unhappy spinner when you try to put it together with the units that it's going next to. So I know it felt weird, but we did not spin our 4 patches this past week. Generally, as a rule, I will look at, I can fit 2 of these on here. I will look at what unit it's going next to. Sometimes the best way to figure out how to press something is if you put the block that it's going next to, if you put them both upside down, like on the ironing board, and then you can actually see the seams and figure out, okay, this needs to go this way, this needs to go this way, and spinning these will never work. And that's what happened to me. Got a lot of purple in here. That's okay, we like purple. It's a lot of fun. It's another one with words. It says, stitch red fabric swatch, something, something, something. Orange sew fabric, pinks, blue. So it's just kind of a sewing, kind of a neutral. I love those. We were having a little discussion on Facebook in one of my posts today. And one lady said, you know, I never have enough neutrals. I never have enough neutrals. I'm always buying the colors. And sometimes you have to change your way of thinking. If you're always buying the colors, then you'll never be able to sew what you want because you don't have the neutrals to go with it. So if you're buying yardage of colors, just throw in a couple of neutral fat quarters. You know, neutrals are something that I buy all the time because I need them. Pardon my sip here. Mouth gets dry talking. But I know that I have boundless colors. I have rainbows of colors and fat quarters and yardage and scraps and strips and everything. And if you don't have the neutrals, it's like not having a canvas to paint on. You may have all the tubes of paint that you want, but you don't have a canvas. So think of getting those neutrals and using them up. These little short ones, little cherries. What have I got here? This is a red. Oh, that's not. Oh, that, I don't think that. This must have gone through the die cutter funny, or it was the end of the strip set. We're not going to use that one. It'll go in the string bucket. Here's a pink batik. We like that. But 4 patches like this can be really boring to sew. So my plan is, if I can just sew a gazillion strip sets, I can get them pressed, and then I am going to use my, oh, that reminds me, I need to make a list for myself. I need a silver Sharpie up at the cabin. I have to mark a die. If you use your AccuQuilt, whether it's Studio or Go or whatever, and I will for these, I love my AccuQuilt for straight strip cutting and for cross cutting. I mark perpendicular lines to the blade so that I have straight lines to line the strips with, so that they'll go through straight, so I won't end up with parallelograms. But if I pair these strip sets together and get them cut into already matched sets of twosies, I can put them in a Ziploc bag and squeeze the air out. And when I take to the road on the 29th, these can go with me. Yes, I'm already thinking of what my on-the-road projects are going to be. They'll go with me to Texas for New Year's. And I'll be able to sew them in the hotel room at night. All 847,000. I'm wondering why I didn't pull this machine out earlier. This is a really good machine. There we go. Alrighty, let's tune on in. That's really cute. I like that tumbler. Elaine says, Quilt-cam. Hope you and your family have a great Christmas. Thank you. You too. Just watching tonight, following the mystery, but haven't been able to work on it. Hopefully I will be able to attend another class with you next year. And that's from Elaine Krause from Madison Heights, Michigan. I hope so too, Elaine. I've got several trips back and forth to Michigan this coming year, so it should be nice. Hopefully be able to see ya. We're going to go all the way down to where I missed stuff here. Holy cow, you guys are busy. If I come all the way to the bottom, I have Mary Lucas who says, starstruck for Christmas. I finished today with a whole week to spare for my 10-year-old niece. Thank you for the pattern and Quilt-cam and all you do. And she sent a picture. Oh, that's so cute. Can I biggie it this way? Nope, it has to be this way. And it went away. Hang on. Dang phone. So there's her Starstruck quilt, made in a nice small size, bright colors for a 10-year-old niece. And you'll find the pattern for Starstruck under the free patterns tab at the top of the blog. Thank you for the share. That is adorable. Okay. And the next one, Angela. How are you, Andy? She says, really happy to sew along with you tonight. I'll be picking a fun smallish block from your quilt maker patterns to make a mug rug for a hinting co-worker. Hinting for a hinting? Oh, so she's been hinting. Make me a mug rug. Make me a mug rug. Choosing the block is half the fun. Kathy's working on clue 2 of the mystery. Well, hello to both of you girls. Glad to hear from you. Hey, Andy, I'm coming to Arizona in February. I'm adding a trip to see my dad and my brother and his family onto the trip that I'm taking to Southern California, because that way I can go LA to Phoenix and home. And I'm going to stay for a few days. So I would love to see you girls for lunch or something. So let's plan that. Sounds fun. And Merry Christmas to you both, too. Okay. And this one, I'm going random here. Kathy Riverbank. Chose that one because I like your last name. She says, I was working on a quilt for my niece for Christmas. I needed 72 2-inch squares. I had a fat quarter that had hunks and chunks cut out of it. This is what is left. Boy, was that close. So out of that fat quarter, what you see in between her fingers is all that was left from that fat quarter. She was able to squeak by and make it work. And I love it when the quilt fairies make that happen for us. That's wonderful. I love hearing about all of the gifty quilts that are going on here. Okay, Carol Hodges says, sewing during Quilt-cam. Jingle Bell Square in progress. Yay! I gotta wait for her picture to show up. Here's her Jingle Bell Square blocks. Jingle Bell Square is a quilt that I did recently in Quilt Maker magazine. You'll find it in the November-December issue for 2015. So it's been out since, what, October? Because they run a couple months back. Really fun quilt. I used 2.5-inch strips and 1.5-inch strips and the companion angle ruler to do all of the 1/4-inch squares in there. And of course, with magazines, they also give you the regular rotary cutting directions so that you can work with the 3.25-inch and 5.25-inch squares if you want to as well. So you have your choice on how to work those. I love that, and I love seeing the Christmas fabric come out. In my Jingle Bell Square, I used all of the old Christmas fabrics that had been hanging around since 1980 something and mixed them in with newer, more updated Christmas fabric. So it's like Christmas past and Christmas present all together. Those blocks look fabulous. Thank you for sharing those. Love it. Okay, and this one from Margaret Blank, who says, Quilt-cam. Lovely to see you live tonight for the first time in some months. I want to thank you for your chunky churn dash pattern. I've made 2 of them. Tops, not yet quilted, she says. For refugees coming into Canada from camps, our church is working with others in Red Deer, Alberta to support some of these families. Attached are 2 photos. Beautiful. So here's one. Chunky churn dash is another one of those I haven't made in a while, but it's one of those that goes really, really fast. 1.5-inch strips and 2.5-inch squares. So you make a strip set, cut 4 rectangles from the strip set and then set everything else together with squares, and the alternate block is just a big hourglass, and it makes it look like the quilt set on point, positive and negative, dark and light. Lots of fun, lots of scrappy, and thank you for your big heart. You're doing a wonderful thing there. Her second one is right here. Very cute. Just a little section of the second one right there. Looks completely different than the first, but it's a really great block. So Andy, I know you've already done Chunky Churn Dash, but that would make a cute mug rug. It's only a 6-inch block. Okay, thank you. Cassandra Grog says, so glad to catch you live for once. Well, welcome, Cassandra. She says, I'm sewing the binding on a small Project Linus quilt tonight. My goal this year is to make at least one Project Linus quilt a month. So she is going to get her December one done, and that will be number 12 for the year. So that's awesome, Cassandra. You know, quilters just have big hearts, and I just love it. I love working with the quilters, and I keep telling people I can't wait until I can retire, because there's a whole lot of quilts needing to be made and donated, and right now it's waiting in fabric in my studio. One thing I've collected a lot of is novelties and things that would work for kids quilts, for Project Linus and things like that. I've always been a huge fan of anything that resembles an I Spy, with fun fabrics for the kids to focus on. Okay, I'll send this one. If I have some more time before I'm going to stay home until probably Friday noonish, and then head up to the cabin again for the weekend. If I can get a mile long of these twosies sewn, they can just go with me, and I can cut them up there. So the latest thing in my crazy life. Okay, so you have, I can say things on Quilt-cam that the hubby's not going to watch, right? You have me, who is gluten-free, who watches what she eats, cuts her carbs, limits sugar, does all this stuff, eats very healthy, is very active, okay? Then you have my hubby, he's very, very active, but he's a carbaholic. Everything is white bread, white flour, sugared cereals, cookies, pizza, you name it, meat and potatoes, no vegetables whatsoever. His cholesterol is normal. Mine is at 250 plus. How is this fair? How is this possible? So the last, my last physical a few weeks ago revealed this, and I had to go back over, okay, what am I consuming that is doing this to me? And the culprit is, of course, hereditary is one big thing. Ooh, orange stripe. I even like you better. Hereditary makes up for a lot of stuff, but overconsumption of animal fat. I love my eggs and sausage while I'm on the road. I love an omelet with eggs and sausage and cheese and sour cream. I love ice cream. You guys know I'm an ice cream fiend. I love Culver's. I'm gonna miss Culver's. So I'm on an experiment for the next 6 months, and I'm not going to focus on what I can't have. I'm focusing on what I can have, and I'm changing my diet. So now am I not only gluten-free, but I have to be low fat, and I have to eliminate animal fats, especially junk things like sausage or bacon, and it used to be my snack of the day. You know, I hit that 3 o'clock hungry, and I'd go to the fridge and I'd grab 2 mozzarella cheese sticks. Geez, that's got to be healthy for you. Oh no, honey. Not for me. Now, it might be fine for somebody else, but my metabolism, and everybody's metabolism is different, says you can't do this anymore. So I'm going to put some recycled fabric here. So we are just having to shake that up. So the new snack of choice is an apple with peanut butter. And you know what? It's pretty dang good. And the new breakfast of choice, rather than eggs, is steel cut oatmeal with craisins and cinnamon and walnuts in it. And instead of milk, I've switched to silk almond coconut blend. That stuff's pretty good. And you know what? It has 50% more calcium than cow's milk. So some changes are being made here. I don't want to go on meds if at all possible. So we'll see. 6 months down the road, we'll know. I have another 6-month checkup for my eyes happening right after Christmas. You know, I was diagnosed with MACTEL-2 almost 6 months ago. And it explains a lot. It explains why I can't read emails on a backlit screen real well, or text messages on my backlit phone. On my phone, I have the light turned way down because the bright lights make it hard. But it's been very difficult, but I've also heard from other people who have this, and they're like, wow, I've never known anybody else who have it. That's a dark to a dark. We can't do that. How about this one? And no, I want this one. It's been good because I know that I'm not going through this alone. But, and things just like I'm having to make a change in my diet, I may have to make other life changes to deal with eyesight that is worsening. So MACTEL is not macular degeneration, although it is a macular thing. It's just it's completely different. It's where the capillaries that feed the fovea, where we have our reading vision. This is just for where your reading vision is. The capillaries are failing. So you get things like in the middle of a word, there's a hole. It's like somebody took a hole punch and went chunk, 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 right through the sentence. And sometimes I can tell what the sentence is. This is too long. I can tell what the sentence is just by the shape of the word, or what the word is by the shape of the word. But visually, words are becoming more and more of a problem. And it's especially interesting. It's like, I'm okay, life, what are you going to throw at me next, and how am I going to deal with it? Because we're going to come out shining with this. We're not going to let this get us down. I'm an author. I spend hours at the computer. My best hours at the computer are in the morning after I've had a good night's sleep. So I've been sticking in naps for doing stuff like this. I took a nap so that I could rest my eyes. But what do you do? How do you plan for what could happen down the road? So anyway, if there's anybody out there with MACTEL-2, please email me. I'd love to hear from you. And for anybody who's wondering, MACTEL-2, MACTEL-2, Google it. Okay, email time. All the way to the top this time. Home Ec with Mel. She says, thanks for Quilt-cam tonight. You made my day when you commented on my blog post with my small progress on the mystery. I just finished the top for the oldest grandson, just needed setting triangles. I'm doing another quilt for a friend as a leader ender while I work on grandson number 2's quilt and oversized courthouse steps and my pile of blues and neutrals to finish out. Clue 3. Hubby just finished the base of a casserole cover on his treadle while I was writing this, so I'm including it too. She's got busy photos here. So she did send a collage of the things that she's been working on. So she sews and her hubby treadles. That's like a match made in heaven there, as long as they stay out of my stash. So, oh, wow. Wonderful. So is that a 319, a Singer 319? I'm looking at, I can't see what model it is. And if I biggie size it too much, it gets too blurry. So they've popped this vintage Singer into a treadle cabinet, and it looks like a Singer that does all kinds of things, maybe cams, maybe zigzags. Wonderful. So he's busy free motion quilting on that one. That's awesome. Here's the Nightsay Quilt-cam. Great camera setup tonight. Best picture ever. And you know what? It's using the camera that's built into the laptop. The other one that I used, the other laptop I was using, which was my retired one from about 6 years ago, we had an external camera hooked to it because the built-in camera was really not good. It was really grainy. And I think over time, cameras have gotten better and better and better. So now I don't even, if I use this laptop for Quilt-cam, I don't even need the external camera, which is a hooray. Now that other laptop I still have because it has a CD-ROM in it. And sometimes I like to set up and just watch old videos and stuff by CD on the laptop as I sew if I'm not going to be where the TV is at the cabin. So there's a reason to keep that dinosaur, and it's at the cabin now, so I can do that. But thank you for tuning in tonight. I see we have messages, text messages on the phone. If it'll come in. Oh, it's from Andy. I got you, girl. Okay, super. All right. Cassandra Grog says she forgot her picture. So here she is putting her binding on, and I see some really fun colors going on there. How many of you love binding? I love binding. I love the hand stitching process. Now, I have wrestled with machine bindings, and I can get them done, and it's functional, but it ain't always pretty. My corners never miter as well. I struggle with wrestling a big quilt under the machine to do the stitching down of the binding. I will use the machine to attach the binding, but when you fold it over the edge and stitch down, I much prefer to flip my bindings by hand. Much prefer. And so I save that for cabin time. The hubby's been on a binge over the past couple of months, watching every episode of NCIS from season 1 all the way to now. That's a whole lot of NCIS. You can get a whole lot of binding done in that time. Do I have any? Oh, I do. See, there's some neutral 1.5" strips in the, oh, look. Are these already sewn? Am I in luck? Huh. Must have been another. Are there any more in here that are sewn? I don't think so. Got some short ones, though. We'll stick those in here. I bet you that was one that I just did a seam test on to see if the seam allowance was right. How about, I want something I haven't sewn yet. Keep turning this over. And there's a whole lot of purple in here and not a whole lot of anything else. Okay, here's a blue. Sometimes I'm even guilty of going back through the string basket. So this is the string basket that lives underneath my cutting table. And as I reach the end of stuff and I think it would make a great string, I'll just throw it in here. But look, I could really go back through here and pull out stuff that I could get 1.5" out of and use them in here. So there's probably a whole lot of, yeah, see, this could be easily, I could get 1.5" out of that. That's what I mean about when you have a project like this that can clear out a lot of little stuff. I'm always about purposing the little stuff. The stuff that is in big, long strips like this, full width of fabric, I might need this for something that requires this much fabric. But for little 4 patches, I'm much more happy to to see the little junk go. So I may see, I've just been lazy and throwing stuff like this in the string basket. But really, if I went like this, save this short end for the string basket, I could get an 1.5 inch strip out of here. I need to be better. But what that's going to do is that's going to give me more variety. Some of these things, see, are too narrow for 1.5 inch. But yeah, it's fun. But for tonight, this is good. But I love to see the little stuff go. Because a whole lot of little stuff adds up to a big amount of variety. There's a stripe. We like stripes. So I would love to shoot for one more quilt cam before the end of the year. And I was looking at my calendar, trying to figure out when that might be. And see, Christmas falls, I'm looking at January. Christmas falls on a Friday, and then I leave on the 29th. And today is the 16th. Maybe it might not happen. We may be into January before we can do the next quilt cam. But we'll work with it. If there is an opportunity, I certainly will let you know. Tell you what, this month off has flown faster than you can imagine. And I have enjoyed each and every moment of it. I've gotten so much done. I've finished 2 tops. I've got one of them just needed borders, and it's on the machine right now. And for quilting, I started quilting it today. And then the other one is waiting in line. I need to piece of backing for that. So that's 2 tops done, and another one well underway that I started. I was a UFO I picked up and started back in on yesterday. And this year's theme is going to be string quilts, because the next book down the road that I'm doing is all going to be, it's like string fling all over again. And you'll be seeing me working on different units here and there, sometimes 4 patches, sometimes triangles, but they'll all be involved with string piecing somewhere. So there'll be a lot of string piecing going on. Have you thought about what you're going to be working on over the next year? I always love to do that, to plan just a little bit. This time of year, okay, we've reached the end of the year. We take a check back. How did we do compared to where we thought we'd be? Where are we? Where would we like to be? What do we want to do? I always feel like I start January with a new plan and a clean slate. So I'm thinking about that and making a list of things that I'd like to accomplish over the next year, and planning on what things can be done while I'm on the road, what things I can pack into little plastic Ziploc baggies and borrow a machine from somebody while I'm teaching somewhere, what things I can work on home here, what things I can work on for Quilt-cam that aren't boring for everybody else. Well, you know, we kind of failed that tonight. But look, we got a huge stack of twosies here. I don't think it'll quite make 404 patches, but we're working on it. All righty, let's check in some more here. Yvette Gillespie says, hello from Perth. So we've got Christmas from down under. She says, the picture didn't send on my previous email for some reason. Merry Christmas to you and your family and all of your Quiltville friends. Well, thank you. She is sending me, something about a stack of 1.5 inch strips. I want as much variety as, oh, there's the Quilt-cam. Yeah, it showed. This is because, did you see when you started Quilt-cam, did you see this picture of me? That's about 4 years ago, maybe 5. I hate how time flies. But I can't figure out how to change that from my Google Plus profile, I've put in my Google profile is a current picture of me at this age now. But when I do the camera, when I do the film, this still is, maybe it's hooked up to YouTube. I don't know. I don't know where this picture is coming from. But I kind of like that picture. And I'm wearing pink. I was a lot skinnier then. Fun. Okay, so let's see what her original, Yvette Gillespie. I'm going to scroll down and find out what you were sending. There she is. Yes, I am counting the hours before going to see the new Star Wars movie. I can't catch the end of Quilt-cam, so I'll catch it in the archive tonight. I'm really enjoying Aliatare this year. Thank you so much. Love the colors and found some really beautiful fabric to make with it. Great. It makes every piece more interesting. Isn't that true? I thought you would like to see this photo presented to me for Quilt-cam today. You look so happy. Well, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, but that profile photo needs to go away. I just don't know where it's linking it from. So maybe it's on my YouTube. I don't know, because that's not my Google Plus profile photo. Okay. Susan Bomye says, how do you say that? B-O-M-Y-E-A. Bomye? Merry Christmas, Bonnie, and a blessed new year. I'm multitasking tonight, and I'm working on some microwave bowl pot holders for gifts. But also between them, I'm sandwiching my tumbler lap quilt, which will be gifted to my daughter-in-law. So she's been working on tumblers this year. We're halfway through the tumbler challenge. Do you guys realize that? When we hit January, that's halfway. My tumbler quilt is no way halfway yet. I may be working on that one for quite a while. She raises chickens, so I thought it would be fitting for her. So here is a picture of the tumbler on the design wall here in Temperance, Michigan, where we are also experiencing a warm spell. Oh, this is so cute. Which came first, the chickens or the tumblers? Isn't that cute? She's put her chicken applique right in rows there. I love that. That's a great way. You know, you got me thinking. Maybe I could do quilt blocks across in between. Go through all the orphan blocks maybe and put those in between. That's really cool. I love this. Great job. I'm saving that idea. Okay, Irene says, Quilt-cam! So glad to see you via Quilt-cam. I'm pleased to report I finished 2 UFOs. Good job, girl. Bricks in the Barnyard and a non-Quiltville mystery quilt class I took in 2011. Are you saying you've been cheating on me, Irene? She says, I'm actually caught up on the Aliatare, so now I'm busy working on my Weed Whacker, which is another UFO, and kitting up the fabrics for all 8 classes for Texas next month. Want to make sure I have everything I'll need during my stay in Texas. I think of you and Dave and your dad every time I watch White Christmas, karaoke style. This is the thing. If you come to the Hunter household on a holiday, there will be old movies, and musicals are a big thing. And we will be watching them with the closed captions on so that we can all sing when the songs are on. So we've started a new tradition. Irene and her hubby joined us for Thanksgiving, and we absolutely loved having them and hope to have them again. Here are her pictures. So here is Bricks in the Barnyard from Scraps and Shirt Tails 2. I love that. I love anything that has a barn raising layout. That's where the design starts in the center and goes out like ripples in a pond. And then the braid border around the outside looks just fabulous. I love that one, Irene. Turned out so great. And then here's her. I love it. I can see what you're cutting. She's cutting up her fabrics right there for our classes in Texas next month. I'll have 2 trips to Texas. I come home for a while, and then I go back. Okay. Here's Kathy Van Gilder, who says, new vintage, an early Christmas present from my 26-year-old son, a FOF 130. You taught him well. How lovely is that? And she's got the Christmas tree on top of the machine too. So here's her little vintage. The FOF 130 machine is an absolute doll of a machine. Total workhorse, strong motor, can sew through leather. It's just a wonderful machine. So if you have a chance to find one, snag it. Makes me want to go look on Craigslist. That's a beauty. That is just a beauty. And I've also know some people who found a motorized machine and removed the motor and plopped it into a treadle cabinet, and now it's a treadle machine. So many of these machines that have external motors back here that are belted, if you've got a belted motor, external motor, you can treadle those. Just pop the motor off. It'll just screw off the side of the motor boss, and into the treadle cabinet it goes. Okay, one more, then we want to sew a little bit. That's beautiful, Kathy. Joyce Greer says, Quilt-cam, thanks for giving me a reason to sew on something of my own. Working on a surprise for my hubby, Clemson quilt for Christmas. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Merry Christmas to you too, Joyce. So happy to have seen you just last month. I love it. I love it. Barb Ostermeyer says, under my needle tonight. Oh, how beautiful. I've had this panel for a number of years now. I bought it on clearance at Walmart. I finally have a wall large enough to display it. I will have to totally quilt it. I will have it totally quilted and on the wall by the end of this weekend. And she sent a photo of, see if I can get it big here, of a nativity scene. If I turn it sideways, there it is. So it's a beautiful nativity scene, and it looks like she's outline quilting it, and she'll be hanging it on her wall. You know, those panels are wonderful, and there's so many different things that you can do. You can cut them up, add window painting, you can put borders on them, you can add blocks around. Panels are just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Alrighty, so okay, so this is one of those. Is it paper bag brown? Is it a neutral, or is it a color? What do you think? I'm thinking it's a neutral, and it just needs to go with something ultra dark. So what do we have that's really dark in here that we can put it with? How about put it with this navy blue plaid? Yep, it's a neutral. See that? So I'll look at a piece of fabric, and then I'll just decide, if I put something darker with it, is it light enough? Mix some of these recycled shirt strings in here. And what else is dark in here? Some of these are just favorites. Favorite shirts. There's one. It's kind of a gray-green. That looks really nice. The border that I finished the other day, I actually got it on the quilt yesterday morning, is also all recycled fabrics, and it had been a while. It's a nice green plaid. It had been a while since I'd sewn with any recycled fabric, and I miss it. It's got me wanting to go through and choose a quilt that I can do all recycled fabrics in again. I've always loved plaids and stripes. They've always been a favorite. I like this one. It's kind of like an Oxford cloth blue plaid. When I'm sewing strip sets like this, you might think that this needs a little bit of ironing, but if I just sew it first and press it second, it'll be okay. It'll lay flat enough while I sew it. This little machine, I'm so happy that I brought him out to play. Power horse. What else have I not sewn? Okay, green. When you're offsetting your strips, and first the top one's longer so you add something underneath it, then the bottom one's longer so you add something on top of it, there's never a good place to stop. Never a good place to stop. So we'll cut that one off. And we'll sew a pair of tumblers together so that I can remove the chain from the machine. Alrighty, so what did we do the past hour? This much. This much. This is going to make a ton of little 4 patches. So I think I'm happy with this, and I'll do this in stages. And we'll make those up, and then we'll do some more. Alrighty, let's check in. Beautiful. Teresa DeYoung says for next year's project, so this is what she's planning on. What are you planning on? She says, I have a niece who's having a baby early in the year and another that is starting college next fall. So that's 2 quilts. All right. Planning on that. But what I'm really excited about is teaching sewing lessons at my neighborhood community resource center, hopefully creating some new quilters. Best of all, these moms can then teach their kids and restore sewing as a basic skill. Whoever decided to stop home ec classes in grade school had no idea the damage they were doing. Have a Merry Christmas. I absolutely agree. I think that not only is sewing a necessary skill, but it's a creative outlet. That if kids have something to focus on that is not digital, looking at the computer screen, playing video games, texting, whatever, but actually making something worthwhile, it would be a much better world. So I'm happy that you're doing this, and thank you for continuing to spread the love of sewing around. This is from, sent a message earlier with picture of 4 patches for the mystery first tumbler quilt. Plan to add small neutral border. And this is from A. Jackson. And I love her tumblers there. She's got a modern flair going on there with all those neutrals and the solids. Just notice the arrangement there, that they're not juxtapositioned, I guess. They're each column is facing the same direction, either up or down, but it's dark light, dark light. Take a look again. See that? It makes kind of zigzag ripples, going dark. Very fun. I love these. Those are beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. And let's do Nola Hartman, 4 patch, she says. I'm making 4 patches tonight and spinning the centers for this block. It's a long time until Friday. I love your mysteries. Okay, so she's making that one. That's lovely too. Sometimes you can spin, sometimes you can't. This is a place where you can. Beautiful. Okay. Ann Lay says, Ann from Costa Rica, most recent finish, have not been able to start the mystery due to eye surgery. Just enjoying everyone else's progress. Will start as soon as I am able, and Merry Christmas. Wow, girl, you made this king size for the bed. She's got a full drop on this strip twist quilt. You see, there's a strip twist in the center, then a spacer border, then a checkerboard border, then another border at the bottom. That is beautiful. So congratulations on the quilt top finish, and good luck with your eyes. Sounds like things are progressing, and I hope that they continue to get better for you. Let's just do one more here. Becky Klein, Quilt-cam, just cleaned and oiled machine. Now I am doing mending. Mending? Quilters don't mend. She says, need to teach daughter-in-law how to mend. Merry Christmas. Yes, you do, because it's interrupting your quilting time, but it's also an opportunity for you to teach her how to sew, and then maybe she'll want to pick up quilting instead. So I'm going to look here from Spanky. This will be our last one for the night. I hear sounds upstairs. That means there's a hot tub impending tonight. My first Quilt-cam, and I'm loving it. Working on making hexagons. Made one with small hexies, so want to make one with larger hexies. This is the one with the little ones. Patricia Geiger, Geiger, Patricia Geiger, whose nickname is evidently Spanky. Hi, Patricia. She says, "Oh, that's beautiful." So here's her hexie quilt. Lots and lots of work and love went into that. That is just beautiful. I love hexagons. I love how portable they are. I love working on them by hand. Um, that is just absolutely beautiful. I'm biggie sizing this to see how you quilted it, and it looks like you just meandered so that you could catch everything, and I think that's just fine. You know, meandering is just beautiful texture and really nondescript, so it doesn't take away from the patchwork at all. That is absolutely stunning. Well, everybody, we are here. It's about 10:15 right now. This is when Bonnie turns into a pumpkin and says goodnight to everybody. I want to take this opportunity to wish everybody a very, very happy Merry Christmas. If you've enjoyed Hanukkah last week, I hope that you still have that feeling of light in your heart and in your home. I'm looking forward to a wonderful new year with many, many quilty things happening for all of us, from my household to yours. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday. We'll catch you next time. Be watching the blog. I'll let you know when that will be, because with Christmas falling on a Friday and family stuff happening over that weekend, I don't think I can just throw in Quilt-cam on a Sunday afternoon, and then within 4 days of Christmas, I'm off to Texas. So I think my dreams are bigger than my realities. So I'll let you know when that will happen. But until then, if it's still early where you are, keep sewing. I'll catch you next time from the basement or the cabin. This is Bonnie and Quiltville signing off. Bye, everybody. Why doesn't my mouse work? We just have to touch the screen. Bye.